And it's not just for elite athletes. So one of the reasons that we are so excited about this is because in the past years that they've had this product available, like so many things, is that you expect one thing from a product that's this powerful, but what ends up happening is another thing. There have been almost just shy of miracles that have happened in the world of pain. And we have to be careful about what diseases we say, because we're not allowed to treat or cure or mitigate or anything. But there have been so many stories of people's lives changing health-wise, pain-wise, healing-wise, that it is more than what they can put on this site that basically is promoting like an athletic performance speed stick looking thing, and they haven't been able to put it. And how frustrating to know what this can do and not be able to tell it story to story, belly to belly. And to explain a little bit more about that, I'm going to bring on Dr. Marlisa Hurt. For those of you, I just gave her a little bit. I actually don't have the time to tell you how amazing this woman is. And I'm the girl who gets girl crushes easy, but I go right up to them and go, I have a girl crush on you. This woman is as brilliant as she is beautiful, but has the most heart-centered desire and purpose to use her knowledge for the greatest good for the greatest many. But when I heard about this, I shared it with her, mainly because I respect her so much, and I knew that she was having her own healing journey, but I didn't know that it would be as impactful to her as it has been. And I'm just going to let you guys listen to her a little bit about why Lactigo, why we need the ingredients in it, and her own story. So if you can come on, my darling.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I am a Lactigo miracle. I am so excited that I get to be here tonight to share about the power, the uniqueness of this delivery system, but the need. This truly is something that is needed by every single household in the world, I believe, should have this, because it is truly a mitochondrial rescue product. And in order to use compliance, I'm going to say things like this supports our ability to help manage our mitochondrial. Because, and some of you listening, like, what are you even talking about? What is mitochondrial rescue? How does my household need to be rescued with their mitochondria? If you don't know what that is, I hope that by the end of this little time that we share together, you fully know how to listen to what your body is telling you, because it's usually our mitochondria that are actually giving us signals that are telling us what's going on in our body. So our mitochondria are the little energy factories inside all of our muscle cells. The highest concentration is in the brain and in our sexual organs. They are the energy factories that allow us to take food, fuel, nutrients, and turn it into energy. That's what makes us, when we stand up, it's what powers our legs to be able to push us up off a chair and to be able to walk across the room. We talk about all the claims to fame within the professional athletes that have used this. And it's so exciting for all of us to get to watch people that we all know because they're famous. But truly, this product wouldn't be great if it was only for elite athletes. I mean, it would be great, but it wouldn't be like a world-changing product that I know that it is. When Ariana called me and told me what this was, I was like, oh, wait. If it has this and this in it, you don't even know what this does. Like, I need this right now. Like, how soon can I get this? Because this, I knew from just hearing the ingredients that it truly was a mitochondrial rescue product. And that means that also, because of the delivery system is so unique, a lot of the challenges that we have. So I'm an anti-aging medicine, which means we study from the cellular level. I work with people from professional athletes to executives to politicians, anyone who wants to optimize their brain function, their physical performance. We look at everything that we are putting in their body, and we use these different levers to be able to bring them to their optimal level of performance. So, if I have a CEO that is running a company and he has brain fog and can't complete a sentence or have memory recall, we put the things in that will address that and help fix that. So anti-aging medicine really, and functional medicine, we're just looking at the seesaw of the balance of two different things within the body. And it's really quite simple. It's, do we have enough nutrients coming in to offset the toxins that are coming in? We have toxins coming in through our air, water, food, pesticides, preservatives, all kinds of stuff coming in through our food supply. Our personal hygiene products have hundreds of chemicals related to cancer and accelerating the aging of the brain and causing nervous system damage, all in the name of taking a shower and trying to get clean and look good. We are poisoning ourselves every day. We are poisoning ourselves with every breath we take unless we're very proactive and we live a life of what I call conscious compensation with the choices that we're making every day. So when we think about what the mitochondria need, we basically need a nutrient to neutralize every toxin that we breathe in. We need a nutrient to be able to match up and neutralize any toxin that we slather on when we're putting in personal hygiene products, or when we eat a salad that's not organic and it's loaded with pesticides, or, you get the idea. So what does this have to do with Lactigo? The uniqueness of this delivery system in and of itself. So I've worked in product manufacturing. Transdermal nutrient therapy is the way of the future. I've been working on this for probably about 11 years now. And back at that time, I think it had only really been a concept that people were developing for maybe 4 to 5 years. So I would say 15 years has it been that we've been producing products that you could put something on your skin and it would get into your bloodstream within 30 seconds. And what we've learned is that it actually takes about 100 times less of a nutrient to get an effective dose than if you're taking it orally. And as people get older, everyone has protein malabsorption in their gut. Everybody starts making less hydrochloric acid. So when you take supplements orally, very often, especially with carnosine and magnesium, the two powerhouse ingredients that are in Lactigo, these things might have an absorption rate of like between 4 and maybe 20% maximum. So if you're taking 100 milligrams, you might get 4 milligrams actually in your bloodstream. That's not good. So what happens is it gets so expensive to take a high enough dose of these things, because the more sick people are, the older people are, the less they actually can digest and absorb. And when we're young, we make our own carnosine if we have enough protein in our diet. We little kids running around and they can fall down and jump back up and nothing hurts, and they're making a ton of carnosine as long as they're getting enough protein. Carnosine is made from amino acids, so little tiny pieces of protein. If you're not eating enough protein, you cannot make your own carnosine. If your toxic load exceeds the amount of nutrients that you have coming in, your mitochondria, those little factories, they have to shift down into a lower gear, and they are not able to produce as much energy or ATP at the cellular level. So we think about this lactic acid buffering property that the clinical literature has proven to us that the combination of carnosine and magnesium can remove lactic acid. So we tend to think that this means lactic acid, where does it come from? We use our muscles to the point of where we limit out, or our muscles fatigued and exhausted, and that pain and that fatigue and that, it's because there's acid. Lactic acid is the sensation of the pain that we get, delayed onset muscle soreness. It can last in the body for 3 days, 5 days, depending on how well you're eating, how much protein you're eating. It depends on how quickly you're able to neutralize that lactic acid and wash it out on its own. But if you use this product before you exercise, you can apply this to the skin, and it's there like a safety net to suck up that lactic acid and neutralize it on contact. So you can work out much longer, harder, and work your muscles better, and then you don't get sore afterwards. And this is fantastic for people who are elite athletes, but it's also fantastic for people who are executives who need their brain to be working at its peak function. It's also great for people who have metabolic syndrome, who their metabolism doesn't work like it did. How many people, your metabolism does not work like it did when you were 20 years old? Like everybody, most people.
Right up in the chat. Put me, everyone in the chat.
Most people, think like, oh yeah, after you're 30, this is due to aging. No, it's really not. It's due to mitochondrial downshifting. And that's why I say this is a mitochondrial rescue product, because if we give our mitochondria enough protein, if we could absorb it in our gut, we could make our own carnosine still. If we hadn't eaten and subsisted on Pop-Tarts and potato chips and all kinds of processed junk foods that are low in protein to the point of getting diabetes, that's a mitochondrial downshifting. That break when your metabolism is broken and you become weight loss resistant, even when you stop eating junk food and start eating nutrient dense healthy foods, your metabolism is broken and you can't lose weight no matter how healthy you eat. You can't exercise because you're exhausted. It's because you've had a mitochondrial downshifting. There has been not enough nutrients for such a long time. You haven't had carnosine and magnesium to manage this mitochondrial output. So we know that lactic acid is produced when we exercise or we really push ourselves to our limits, but a lot of people don't know that toxins also deplete the key nutrients that allow us to generate ATP in the muscle cells and in our brain tissue. And so when we're nutrient deprived and our cells have surpassed this toxic load, we start, people who have chronic degenerative diseases like diabetes, metabolic syndrome, chronic fatigue syndrome, um, anything where just even if you don't even have a syndrome label, if you just feel tired but wired and you can't relax at nighttime, your mitochondria are waving the white flag and saying, rescue me. So when you are crossing over into this mitochondrial downshifting, we begin mass producing lactic acid even when we're at rest. It's not just aging that causes you to wake up feeling like you've been injured in your sleep. This is a mitochondrial rescue signal. So I want to challenge you to think just a little bit different about what your body's telling you when you perceive pain. Your body's telling you that you are hungry at the cellular level. It doesn't have enough raw materials. It doesn't have enough fuel to make ATP. And when our mitochondria have to shift into this lower gear, it causes pain. And this is our mitochondria actually dying off. So tissue death hurts, and your body is waving that white flag with those pain signals. So listen, feed it. Transdermal nutrient therapy has found an incredible, unique breakthrough with this product, that we are able to not only get it into the bloodstream, but also into the deep cellular tissue level. So because it places this cellular food on the other side of all of these blocks, like whether it's a digestive malabsorption issue or a metabolic block like diabetes, because this places the nutrients on the other side of whatever block it is like putting an oxygen mask on for our hungry cells. So interestingly, all of the diseases that take lives today are considered chronic degenerative diseases, and they are related to mitochondrial downshifting. So whether we're talking about cancer, diabetes, heart disease, it all starts in our mitochondria first. So what we have available to our bodies to repair when we rest depends on our mitochondria's ability to be able to recharge and produce ATP. So if you're waking up feeling exhausted, if you're going to bed feeling tired but wired, and you're making to-do lists as you're laying there and you're not able to transition from fight or flight mode into rest and recovery mode, that's a sign that your mitochondria is hungry. The list of things that the combination of these mitochondrial rescue agents, carnosine and magnesium, that they'll do, they reduce oxidative stress. That means any kind of stress that's coming at you at the cellular level, anything, whether it's toxins in the air, water, and food, whether it is, physically pushing yourself to your limit in the gym, whether it is toxic emotional relationships, anything that causes stress increases our nutrient demands on our body. So we can use this topical food liking nutrient as a lever to modulate our oxidative stress load. So inflammation, it reduces advanced glycation end products, which are also a hallmark of aging. When proteins attach to sugar, you can look at your skin and see if you have had advanced glycation end products. Sometimes people call them age spots or liver spots. Those are, that is a process called glycation that accelerates the aging of our skin. but we also have those spots all over our internal organs. If you've got a lot of that going on, you need to slather some stuff on you, because your organs on the inside also have those same spots on them that accelerated cellular aging, and you can get rid of them if you feed your cells properly. So these things also regulate macrophage function, activate the immune system's capacity, and then also activates GABA, which is our major inhibitory neurotransmitter. So this allows our system to downshift from that fight or flight, or that parasympathetic, over into the parasympathetic mode, which is our rest and repair mode. So again, if you are going to sleep at night and making lists of things to do and rehashing every conversation you had all day long, your body is, your mitochondria are trying to tell you they are so hungry that they're in panic mode, and they're trying to tell you they need some help. So, you need carnosine, and you may need magnesium, like as if water and oxygen. So, let's see, this activates brain-derived neurotrophic factor. So hallmarks of being low in this are psychiatric diseases and accelerated brain aging. And last but not least, carnosine helps to modulate overactive histamine responses, which is why I personally could not wait to get my hands on it, because my immune system had started batting for the other team a few years ago. I had an inhalation injury from toxic mold poisoning, and I thought I could stay in my house and live through it. And 3 years later, I finally had to move out of my house for the past year, because my immune system, basically the dam broke, and I was just gaining tons of fluid. If you think about somebody who, and I got mast cell activation syndrome, which means the flip just switches and everything goes haywire with your immune system, but it's basically too much histamine. Carnosine and magnesium, for people who have heightened sense of allergic reactions, or if you get in an elevator and somebody has perfume on and you get a bad headache and you can't function for 3 days, like me, your toxic load is far beyond the amount of nutrients that you're taking in to neutralize those toxins, and you have overactive histamine responses. We've all heard of kids who, or adults even, who get a bee sting, and it doesn't just leave like a red mark that's itchy. Their whole arm swells up, their throat closes up. That's an overactive histamine response. These mitochondrial rescue ingredients help to neutralize that overactive, life-threatening response to things. Like a bee sting should not kill us, but it can if people have an immune system that is struggling. So I personally started taking this on a Thursday afternoon. I had been having severe chronic pain for 3 years. I had been doing all of the things in functional medicine, taking multiple injections per day for 9 months, peptide therapy, red light therapy, methylene blue, like just, all the tricks. I've got all the tools, all the tricks. I've been doing it all, but I still had chronic pain in between my shoulder blades and in my neck that I just couldn't get rid of. But I was 90% better. And just knowing, and then the brain fog that also comes. Mold, when you breathe in mold, it literally pokes holes in your mitochondria, and all the ATP leaks out, and you can't think, and your muscles hurt, because again, those mitochondria, they just start dying off, and it hurts. So I started using this on a Thursday afternoon. I used it that night. I used it Friday morning, Friday night, 36 hours, 5 applications later, and I was able to move furniture for 8 hours straight. We'd had to have our house completely emptied of everything in it. And then the new things were coming in. I was helping to put those things in place. Hey. That was the first time that I had been able to do any kind of physical labor in 3 years. And I didn't sit down for 8 hours straight. It was fantastic. And I could do it without getting tired. I didn't need to sit down and really retreat to the couch. And the next morning I woke up with energy, and I felt like I could lift weights. So after a week, after 7 days of applying it 2 to 3 times a day, during that week, I had the opportunity to speak with our chief science officer, Dr. Chad Macias, and he had shared that there is no safe upper limit of carnosine. That means there is no amount that you could put on your body that you could ever achieve a toxic response. It's all good, nothing bad. You're just banking up more and more reserves that allows you to be more resilient to oxidative stress, more resilient to all kinds of stress, more resilient to chemical stress, more resilient to exercise stress. You're just banking up. It's like being too rich, right? There isn't such a thing, is there? This I could not wait to just bank up and upregulate my mitochondria to the highest gears of stress tolerance and stress resilience, just to see what my body was capable of doing. And I became pain-free in a week of something that I had been trying to crack the code on for 3.5 years. And
That would be
then
the part, that would be the part that I would even just clip out of that, because you can imagine my delight when I got that message. But, and then go.
And then I lost 5 pounds, which to me was just like, yes, I just turned 55 years old. And everybody's like, oh, it's just menopause. It's well, I'm like, no, it isn't. Our bodies should work even when we're older if we put in the right things and we're very conscious about avoiding the wrong things. So diabetes starts in the muscle cells. People don't know this, but when we have enough amino acids, when we have enough essential fatty acids, our muscles are like have these little neurofibrils that are kind of like an electrical cord that you plug into the wall. And our muscles, when we use them, should plug into our fat stores so that we have this effortless supply of fuel to burn when we exercise. When we have a metabolic break, when we have mitochondrial downshifting, when we have an excessive toxic load, those neurofibrils die off and we no longer can burn fat for fuel when we're fasting because there's been a block. And the beauty of this product is it places the nutrients, the food supply, the fuel for the muscles on the other side of that metabolic block. And it allows our muscles to just suck that stuff up and use it and work like they haven't missed a beat. So I just want to say, whether you know someone who has brain fog, who can't sleep at night, who hasn't left the couch and they're on the sidelines of their own life, you have nothing to lose but all of these things that have been holding you back, keeping you on the couch. If you want to know what a good day feels like and to live your life fully, I would challenge you to use this 2 to 3 times a day. Use it like clockwork. I'm a huge believer in circadian biorhythms. Like the universe was created with such order and our bodies were designed to be in sync with the rhythms of the earth. If you could put this on at sunrise and sunset every day, religiously, if you have a lot of chronic pain, I would also put it on midday. Even better, try to get 15 minutes of sunlight in there at noon, but don't stop when you feel good. Keep going. You need your body to go through 2 to 3 cycles of cell renewal and repair before you miss a day. This is about every 4 months. We have a totally new supply of red blood cells. I would challenge you to do a 4-month challenge of not missing a day, because it's only then that you will know what your body's truly capable of. And this might be the first time you know what a good feels like. So for all of the people who have been looking for something, all of the people who are tired, don't even, I reached out to a naturopathic doctor in Canada who suffers from a trigeminal neuralgia. And she's like, I've tried everything. Trust me, I've tried everything. And I said, wait, have you tried transdermal carnosine and magnesium? And she's a huge spokesperson for magnesium. She's written books on it. I said, you have to try this. Do not give up on yourself on what your body's capable of before you try this, because the uniqueness of the delivery system, the clinical data that we have, and it is just so powerful. And I know that this 2025 is going to be our year to thrive. I know it's going to be mine. I hope that you'll join me in that challenge. And I'm excited to see. Can't wait to hear
Amazing.
people's stories.
I want you guys to know from all of that, I could listen to Dr. Marlisa all day. And what I love is that, a lot of us have our thing that we're passionate about, whether it's food, cooking, gardening. She talks about this stuff all the time, like it's her, like the juiciest stuff, because it's what she does. And she's so incredibly smart. But what you guys got from all of that is even a woman with those degrees, with that articulation, her knowledge base still was suffering. And all of a sudden, when she got on and said she's a lactico miracle, that was the most important thing. And like letting you know what type of people we're attracting here. So that you don't need to know how she talks. You don't need to know those things. You just need to know that you're part of a community and people that have brains like that are as passionate as she is, because we're not here to convince anybody of anything. But if you were, you want to know what convinces? Conviction. People don't need to believe it. They just need to believe that you do until they can adopt that. But getting people off the sidelines of their own life, I love that, Marlisa. Thank you for you. And I want you guys to know that no matter how smart she is, no matter how much I've learned from her in this past decade, when she sent me a message saying, I haven't been pain free in 3 years, I'm moving furniture, I could cry. And then she texted me and said, we're going to change lives together. And I took a screenshot of it. That's what we're doing here. And so it seems dramatic, but it's not. We're going to wrap up here quickly with, I don't need to tell you a lot of other things about this other than, when people like Usain Bolt are winning gold medals on this using Lactigo, here's the thing, when he breaks world records using Lactigo, how many people do you think he told about it? Not enough, if any, because he had a competitive edge, right? And that's what happens. But when you have a product like this, it requires that. The U.S. Special Forces are using this. Dr. Marlisa talked about Chad Macias. He's our chief scientific officer. I've never been in a room where a guy knows his stuff so well that he can take complicated things and make them really simple. And he's responsible for all the patents, all the things. But he was a two-time Olympian himself. He currently trains the Special Forces and was Usain Bolt's personal trainer at the time that he was using Lactigo. And not only that, we will have an equine and a canine line as well, because when you think about muscle and delivering carnosine to muscle and lactic acid, what do you think of an animal more muscular than a horse? Well, the horse this past year that won the Kentucky Derby increased his run time by 6 seconds using Lactigo leading up to the race. Because it was so effective, they also had other horses that weren't even expected to win, but they rubbed down that owner all the other horses that he had. And not only did this one come in first, but the other ones came in second, third, fourth, and fifth. You can't make this stuff up. It's really that powerful if you need it. And to just last but not least, so that you guys know, the NHL has seen such a difference in this with all of its players when the word finally got out, that they've now deemed it mandatory that all NHL locker rooms have Lactigo in there for their visiting team, so that nobody is at the disadvantage. Imagine an entire NHL league talking about Lactigo, where every other product like Gatorade or Power Bars or anything have to get them. You got to pay them to do a shout out for you, and they're doing that for us just because of the effectiveness of it. I don't know how many more you'd need. The New Zealand All Blacks, the biggest rugby teams in the world, that do the haka, and they were willing to do research on Lactigo. These are some of the guys that got rubbed down half their body with it, half their body not. They wanted to have the advantage. They won the Paris, the Olympics. They are huge advocates of what this does for their bodies. But like Dr. Marlisa said, you guys, when I talk to you about Warren Buffett saying, is it credible? How much more credibility would you want? Is it marketable? How many people do you know that want to run faster, jump higher, go harder, and recover quicker? But even more so, how many people do you know, like Marlisa said, that just want to run, that just want to jump, that just want to go and just want to recover? Forget the quicker, all the other things, just average people. And I'm a big person about nutrition. I'm a holistic nutritionist, life coach. My whole life, played basketball in university. I'm an athlete, a yogi, all the things. But all this talk about longevity, what is longevity without vitality and vibrance? And this is really what we get to be a part of, delivering people's lives. So we're going to have a canine equine line. We're have a whole line to do with health and wellness, a whole sports performance line, obviously. But imagine one of the things that carnosine is also known for is an incredible anti-aging. Marlisa referred it to cellular level, but imagine a beautification of that. So we're going to have a beauty and skincare line introducing these peptides 1 and 2 in this same delivery mechanism that we talked about. And one day you'll see, when I told you this was a great story, it's such a great story that it's going to be told in a docuseries. The production people who do Breaking Bad and all these other shows that you would know, CSI Miami, all those things. There will be a docuseries starting talking about the Italian lab, the stories that I just told you, and the horses and the athletes. It's going to be incredible, but that's the future of where we're headed. And so is the timing right? Well, there's always two timing things, right? There's a timing of an industry, a timing of a product launch, but it's always your timing. Like I said earlier, really the biggest revolution is whether it's going to be you're going to be involved. I want you to know that this product and Deravita are going to the moon. We expect it to be the next billion-dollar brand brand, whether you're a part of it or not, whether I'm a part of it or not, right? But we get to decide whether we want to be a part. And what we need is ambassadors, because a product like this shouldn't be a best kept secret. It should be shouted from every ice rink and arena and football field and dojo and track and every swim club and swim association, or health association. It should be from that, but also shouted out in every single coffee shop and kitchen table that we can, for the betterment of others. We are having and hosting our very first ever event, and our very own Trent Lindstrom, I think, is on here. When I talk to you about the character and quality and integrity of people that I've been able to run with on this since it started, he is one. For any of you that are interested in the profitable side of this business, and wonder how we get paid, this company will pay you as little as you want or as much as you could possibly dream. I promise you, if you will be a voice and a vessel for this, and want to run with it. So is the profitable side, but part of that is the community side. And if you ever want to know about the profitable side, you're probably going to watch a little compensation video, and you'll see our very own Trent Lindstrom, who's the one who has done that. But Trent, would you like to hop on and just talk about this event?
Yeah, absolutely. You're talking about, thanks, by the way, Ariana, for that nice introduction. You talk about wanting to share this from the kitchen tables and the coffee shops and the gymnasiums. It just so happens that I'm sitting right here on the football field. This will be one of the places, too, that we'll be yelling at it. I just finished a meeting at Dixie High School in St. George, Utah, and I'm just wanting to find a place that had a little bit of better lighting. Guys, listen, these are just rare opportunities. They really, truly are. You listen to Dr. Marlisa talk about the value of the product. And, when you're looking at from an opportunity and an investing standpoint, I've had a chance to be in some pretty closed group conversations on an investing side, and to hear them talk about some key things that have to be in place. One of those is, does the product have value in the marketplace? Mm-hmm. And in fact, I would just add one to that, a unique value to the marketplace, something unique that stands on its own. And then I heard something else in the investor slide deck and conversation with investors investing, and that's the idea of demonstrable. Demonstrable is a real word, and it talks about the ability to experience, not only to say we actually can validate that it works, we have the studies that shows it works, but you can actually experience for yourself that it actually does what it says it does. That's unique, and this industry is starving for credibility. We have that lined up there. We look at the trends. Are people getting sicker, or are they getting healthier? Trends is something that we want to pay attention to. Is it a fad or is it a trend? Trends shift market consumption. This is a product, as Dr. Marlisa talked about, for the masses. We've got great testimonials. For 18 years, this has been researched in the sports and nutrition world with athletes. And now we have the opportunity to actually put this into the masses. I had a chance to talk with Kevin Atkinson, who was the one who got these patents, as Ariana was talking about. And I says, you wait. With these stories with athletes are so powerful. You just wait till you start hearing the stories coming in for the masses and the mass consumption. There's no question the trends are right. Ariana talking about timing. It's really just recognizing where the masses are going and just choosing to be there first. You guys have right now the opportunity to hear about this before everybody else hears about it. Nobody knows about this stuff yet. It's going to be so powerful when you look at this from a timing perspective. The next thing, compensation, as Ariana's talked about, there is a great compensation plan that's tied here. The short answer is really simple. The companies chose not to do endorsement deals. They're not paying professional athletes to endorse this. Everything that we've already heard about professional teams and these teams that are studying and using it, they're using it for themselves, for performance, to compete at the levels that they're competing at. There's not endorsement deals. They've chose to take this compensation, and rather than throwing money into advertisements on TV ads, rather than putting it through some type of an affiliate type program, and they put it into the network marketing space, into a comp plan. 50 cents on every dollar is going to be paid out. Learn how to maximize making that money. It's a powerful, powerful thing. And the last thing that's tied into this slide that you guys are staring at right now is the value of the company. Who is the company? Who is corporate leadership that's going to be tied to this? I am so excited for you guys to hear who's going to be the corporate CEO and the leadership that's going to be tied to this build. Oh my goodness, the experience of this particular individual, the credibility of this individual, his work ethic, his value, his morals, everything's tied to this. It really truly is something special. And if you want to, I call it putting the Cinderella shoe on to see if this fits, come out to this event on January 24th and 25th. Come see for yourself. Ask those questions to the people that are going to be here. It's the top leadership of this company. The CEO is going to be there. Chad Macias, the chief science officer, is going to be there. Kevin Atkinson, as you heard in the story already, who got these patents in place, he's going to be there. Jeremy and Darren, they're going to be there. There's going to be all the top leaders. Ariana is going to be there. All these top leadership is going to be there. It's a chance for you to really size this thing up for yourself and say, is this real? I just want to say this one last plug. There's some people that operate in hindsight, and there's some people that operate in foresight. Hindsight is saying, man, something big happened, and I wish I would have done something with it. Foresight is recognizing where it's going and choosing to be a part of it. There's a great group of people already on here. It's a good community, solid individuals. Come to this event, see it out for yourself, and operate with foresight. Ariana, thanks for letting me jump on here and share a little bit of thoughts, and back to you.
Love it. I love it. You know what? We want to honor your guys' time. You know, sometimes things like this like create more questions, as they should. Like I said, this is meant to be a snapshot, and it's either something you see yourself as a one. If you're here as a one, like we said, thank you for supporting those that you love, and you better understand why they're excited. If you're a two, you're like, that sounds amazing. How do I get my hands on some Lactigo? Aren't we all asking the same thing right now? Because the company right now has purchased 90% of it and brought even bottles back from Amsterdam and Europe. So it's all available in the founders kits that I was talking about. So look to figure out or talk to the person that invited you today. Get your questions answered. You know, I'm an optimist naturally. But you know, skeptic, there's nothing wrong. There's skeptics are just people who have a lot of questions before they run with something. So make sure you do get those questions answered. We'll do our best. And we're the first to tell you we don't know something that we don't know. But if you're a three and you really want to run this, really, you're someone who knows that this set of circumstances has a better shot of getting you the something you want, then let us know that too. Because we're looking for people like Red Rover that want to link arms and run with us and do something great together. I do believe we can change the world, just not alone. So we are looking for people who are looking for us. And if that's you, then let us know. We're excited. But until then, regardless of what these are, we are going to let you go right now. Thank you for your time. I know it's your most valuable asset. We hope that we did our best to make sure it was time well spent. And with that, we will say goodbye until next time.